Hi everyone. I know it's been a while you've seen me. I've been busy with life. But today I have an interesting topic to discuss with my guest here, and I'll get to introduce her very soon. My name is Seyi, and I talk about, tips that I feel like are helpful. But please, I'm not an immigration consultant. And many people have been coming to ask me if I get people jobs. I don't have an agency where I get jobs. I only share my experience, and you should do your own research as well. So I share my experience so that you can also take the information and use it as you please. Not that I will help you look for a job or something like that. But let's get right into it. Today we'll be discussing PSW, that is personal support worker, and I have a guest on the show today. Her name is Teemi Pheels. Teemi Pheels for short.
Yeah.
And from my experience, we're going to be learning more about this topic. So welcome, Teemi.
Thank you, Shay.
So good to have you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm here. So ask me any question. I'll answer to the best of my ability. Yep.
Oh, all right. Thank you. Okay, so let's quickly jump into it. Just tell us briefly about yourself.
Okay. Like she said, my name is Teemi Pheels, and I am a PSW as well. Have a diploma in PSW, and I'm also a nursing student, RN student. So basically, I think that's about it for me.
All
Well, no,
right.
that's not really about me. Okay. So I used to be an HR person, but I transitioned. So yeah, guys, that's it. Majorly, yeah. So
All right.
I'm in health field completely now. Yeah.
Nice. So yeah, like a 3 in 1. You've been an HR person, PSW, and now registered nurse in view. Wow.
Yes. You can say it. You can say it.
All
So you want
right.
to
Okay.
ask? In fact, I even have immigration. But no, I'm
Ah,
not an immigration person. I'm not helping anybody to look for job. So no.
okay. So we're sticking to the HR and
HR.
medical line.
That's all. That's all. Strictly that.
All right. Okay. So how did you get into Canada? Can you briefly tell us how you got into Canada? How long you've been here? Just tell us about your Canada experience so far.
My Canada experience, yeah. I've been here for a little over 7 years now, and I came into the express entry when it started 2015. That's a long story. Like I was telling Shay, it's a long story. I think I should even share it. Maybe that would encourage more people coming because express entry is going to start in July again. And yes,
Mm-hmm.
I came in under the express entry, but I came in as a spouse. Okay, my husband
Okay.
came in as a student, so I joined with a visitor's visa. And yeah, we applied for the express entry, and yeah, that's how I came in. And I've been here since then. I haven't gone anyway.
Now you're the landlord and landlady of Canada.
Landlord.
Okay. And yeah, opening the doors for the rest of us that are coming and the people watching this video that want to come as well.
That's true, Shao. But just do the right thing and you come.
Okay. That do the right thing. It seems like a summary to a lot of information.
That's true. It's not as easy as it is, but when you persevere and you do the right thing, you would get your PR. So that's it.
All right. Okay, so to the topic for today, can you tell us what PSW is?
Okay. PSW is personal support worker. Some also call it caregivers. So it depends. So both are the same thing. So as a PSW, there are two things. You could either be caring for an elderly person or kids. So there are two types. So you choose the one you want to. So um, what do you really need to know about PSW? Just have an experience, have your diploma certificate, and that's all you need. And most times, some organizations will just, train you. So, personal support worker is a very delicate job, but there's a high demand for it here because we have a whole lot of baby boomers that keep retiring every year in every profession. So that's why that job is not a job that would, go down the drain anytime soon.
Hmm.
Okay. So it's just basically caring for people. It's about humanity, do unto others what you would want them to do to you when you get to that stage in life.
Wow. Yeah, I know that it's a big deal here compared to Nigeria, for instance, where we don't really have plans for our old people. It's just
I'm sorry when you said Nigeria, I'm like, yo, you did this in Nigeria.
except maybe people that are really super wealthy where they can afford to have in home, nurses and all those things. But generally, our old people don't really have that type of experience like in the advanced world, which is so sad.
Yeah.
Which is so sad.
You're right. That's why here they have the residential home and they also have the long-term home. So there are two different types. The residential home, they are still, able to do things themselves, to a certain degree, still about 75%. But when you see those long-term homes, most of them really need total care. Like they are so the ADLs, it's called activity of daily living, is so diminished to the extent that they would require someone to help them. So there are those two types. And I realized that Nigeria, we don't have that system in place. And that's why one of my goal as a person, is to, and that's why I'm in a nursing that's why I'm in nursing as actually, we don't have that set of for Nigeria, and it's really disheartening. Many people just, you see that they are battling through a lot, but they don't know how to even help themselves. And just say that most of them, they just have house help. Even house help will be treating them anyhow and stuff like that. It's really sad. And those
Yeah.
that don't even have enough money cannot even care for their family, right? So here now in Canada, here we have some homes, like some community homes, that because long-term care is very expensive. Retirement homes, they're very expensive. As you look at it, it's extremely expensive. Some rooms, they go by rooms. Some rooms may go up onto $5,000, $6,000 per month. That's what they pay.
What?
Oh yes, you
Just for
get
the room. Does it include feeding and all that?
it includes feeding and everything. That's minimal. Imagine, because there are different homes, and the more your room or the more the home is, the more luxury you get. So, but there are also some that the government is actually in charge. But of course, the ones that these governments are in charge, you won't get the maximum, care as
Yeah. The
this
privatized ones like that.
televised one that they're paying from the pocket, because those ones are subsidized. And even when you go there, yourself as a peers, will be like, God, oh, please do what I want to when I grow old. If at all I find myself in a situation where I have to come to a residential place or a long term care, I want the best of the best. That's why you have to take the advantage and prepare yourself for the future.
Wow. This
Yeah.
just brings to my mind the topic of retirement, which is something that we hardly talk about
Yeah.
from where we come from, because you just believe that once you're old, you have children that will take care of you, and
Mm-mm.
there's there's that whole circle of you don't plan for retirement, and then even those people that plan for retirement, just I don't even want to go to that story of retirement
Don't
because that's
worry,
another word.
that time, because I
Yeah.
have tips on how people can actually plan themselves for retirement, because I'm a licensed I'm a licensed insurance broker.
You see, talking to somebody that has different hats for different,
Yes, I wear it wholeheartedly. I wear it
that's the
whole.
Nigerians that I know, we don't slack. We're very knowledgeable in so many things. So
Information
many,
is power.
yeah. And when you have the information, make good use of it.
That's true. That's true. That's good.
Okay, so you mentioned already when you were trying to talk about the PSW, you mentioned a little bit about the requirements. Okay, so there are two categories right now. I would like us to speak about somebody that is currently in Nigeria that's interested in this PSW pathway. Do you think that person can come into Canada, get a job? And first of all, how would the person even get to Canada using a PSW pathway? Is that possible? And even if the person comes, what's the requirement to get a job?
Okay, yeah, you can. Like I said, it's very possible. The most important requirement, like if you're not coming in through the study route, is for you to get a job. Now
Okay.
that's where it really comes really hard for most people. But there are websites you can actually go to, and even individuals can actually even sponsor you. Yeah, so it doesn't really have to be company. You go online now. Um, you go online. There are government website you can actually see. They will advertise that they need people. They'll tell you the wage and everything, and they're ready to sponsor you. In fact, you can have a family member in Canada that is ready to sponsor you, like you to come and mine mind your children for you, or their parents here. The most important thing is that if they are able to sponsor you, you'll be able to come in. And then once you come in, once you get that offer and everything, later you can now apply for your work permit back home. And once you apply for your work permit, of course, there has to be before they can sponsor you, there has to be like an income, threshold for that person that is sponsoring,
Okay.
criteria to go about it. But that's really none of your headache,
Business.
because
Yes.
it's sponsors headache. Just make sure that they have everything, the wage and everything has to be at par and stuff like that. And they give you all those documents, and then you apply, back home for your work permit. So once you get your work permit, it's okay. But the only clause here is that if someone is sponsoring you, then you are going to be working for that person, right?
Mm-hmm.
Except maybe there's an agreement between both of you, depending on the contracts that you guys sign. Some may say, okay, it's okay, you can do 1 year and then go to another employer. But if someone is sponsoring you, and depending on your contract, you have to stick out that contract till that contract is done. Okay, and thereafter, so if you have worked here, then there's a stream for the caregiver, or PSW people. Like if you have worked, you don't necessarily have to go through the
Express
SMT,
entry
CEC, or whatever. They have the carers, the
pathway.
caregiver pathway that you can actually, and what then is just your work experience, like that you have. Then for me, when people come here, I'll tell them try to do the 6 months, because most PSW is just 6 months. So while you are working, something you can actually still do 6 months. Once you have your work permit, you also have opportunity to get a study permit. So
Oh,
yeah,
really?
can switch to a study permit now. Why not? So far, and then and aside from that, you can do 6 months without visa. You can go to school 6 months without visa.
Wow.
Yeah, you can. And so for some of those private schools, they can do PSW for you for 6 months. And once you are in school for 6 months, so far you don't exceed 6 months, you can go to school. So that way, you're adding more knowledge to yourself, more training, even while you're working. Sure, you get my point, right? So you are working, look for a school that has 6 months threshold that won't make you, break any immigration rule, and then do that 6 months, add it to your this thing. By the time you are done with your years of contract, whatever that you have with whoever has sponsored you, you'll be
Mm-hmm.
just applying for your PR through the caregiver route, and then yeah, you get your PR. The other option will be for you to come through school. I've seen people who, in fact, there was a particular lady that did HR back home. Like she used to work in, I think, McDonald HR manager or something, and then she came
Okay.
into PSW, and then right now she just finished her RPN. Yeah, I see a couple of people, who come in. It doesn't have to be like you can. In fact, if you like, be the greatest in Nigeria. The most important thing that most people want to do is that just come in, because the country is not really convenient, and that's the truth. It's not really convenient right now. Everybody wants a better place to be able to live their life and then build their
True.
life, especially for their family. So the other allowed to be for you to come in through school. But for PSW here in Canada, they're coming through public school. It's usually 1 year, and that 1 year sometimes comes with, not sometimes, must come with co-op, like a mandatory co-op.
Mm.
Okay,
Okay.
so once you do that, then you can now start looking for a job. But it's always very hard when you come into a 1 year program and say you want to look for a job for another 1 year. It's really always
True.
very hard, right?
True.
So we want to also do another another program, maybe another 1 year program, and then thereafter now apply for a postgraduate work permit, which will now give you like 3 years. So that 3 years will give you a leeway to say, okay, can I apply? So that way now you have two options. Well, I'm
Options.
through the caregiver pathway, or I'll just
Mm-hmm.
apply to the express entry. So you see, so it's a win-win situation. So it's either you apply for a job from Nigeria, or you are coming through the student route. So
Okay. Thank you.
that's
I think you really giving us so many tips. So for PSW, because I tried to take down some notes. If you are coming in, if you are somebody in Nigeria, you need to take a course at least
yes, at least try to take a course. If you are not in the
on
health space
PSW.
at all. Yeah, Kara, there are so many, like I don't want to divide because we're talking about Canada right now. But
Yeah.
if you notice that most people are going to UK right now, so there are platforms where you do that training, the career training, because it also boost your resume. You know, you want to
Mm-hmm.
make sure your resume is selling who you are, is selling your skills, your expertise, and stuff like that. This is what they want to see. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so do that, do those training to help you. You know, make sure your resume is very gege, and don't give up. Just keep trying, and make sure your resume is in line with Canadian style. You know, it's very important. So you cannot just dump one resume and say, okay, well, this is no, it don't work that way. So do your resume very, do some training, do your CPR, you know, first aid and all those stuff. Put it in there so that they will know what you have done. If you don't have experience gaga at all, like in that field, do you have any grandparents that has maybe a disease, or you have you have a child that has some kind of problem? State
That
it
you've
there.
been caring for.
That you're caring for. State it there in your resume. Highlight it. This is what I've done. This is how far. Then also let them know what was the what was now, like what changed in that person's life. How were you able to improve that person's activity of daily living? You know, like what are the high points? So sell yourself very well on your resume. It's go a long way. You get a job, just keep trying. If it doesn't have to be the company, it can be the private ones.
Oh,
there,
okay.
there are job bank, Canadian job banks. They're always posting it there that you would see people always looking for carers and stuff like that.
Okay. So the good news is it's possible to get a career job even
Right.
from outside Canada. All you
Yeah.
need to do, take a study on care trainer, take a care training course. It can be online or offline, it can be in person. Also, write a CV for your experience. So even if you have personal experience that is not compulsorily like a physical office or contractor, something that because you are caring for somebody, a family or relative, you can state it there. It can come in handy. And I know many people in Nigeria are working with all these auxiliary nursing people. I feel like they are very good candidates for that. Would you say so?
Yeah, I would say yes, but if you tell them they are good candidates, they will tell you they are nurses. So I don't understand how they are nurses, because auxiliaries are not nurses. I'm sorry to say, but this is not like attacking anybody, but they are not nurses.
Okay.
They are like PSWs here. So even though they would not want to agree, but that's it. That's their job. And most times what they get is just a certificate. But here you get a diploma. Like I think they shadow the nurses or the doctors. I really don't know what they do, you know, but auxiliary nurses are not nurses. They are um PSWs.
Okay.
So yeah, they
So
can use that, you know.
So if somebody's an auxiliary nurse, you already have the experience,
Yes.
and maybe most likely you already have a certificate, or you just need to go for a training course, just
Mm-hmm.
something to show. Create a CV of your experience, and then go to the job bank, for instance, and search for those jobs.
That's
Apply.
right. That's
And if
right.
you have a family member that is willing to sponsor you to come and take care of their children or their elderly one, you can tell them to sponsor you if they're willing to or if they're capable. Come with that. I'm trying to summarize what you said though. Come
Yes.
with that, and then if you have more bigger plans for yourself, you can still come with the PSW to Canada, start working, and within that time take a training course. Not
Right.
necessarily a training course, a study or license or whatever you want to do with a
Within,
study permit
yeah.
or free
Within,
6 months.
yeah, of course.
Yes, it shouldn't be more than 6 months.
Yeah,
And
sure.
then once you are ready, once you're done with your training, of course, because there's the PSW pathway, you can apply for that one, pathway to citizenship. Oh, sorry, to permanent residency. You can apply for that one. I think that one is 2 years, right? 2 years of
Yes,
work experience
yeah.
as a PSW. So
Yeah.
you can apply for that. Or you can also, because you're working in Canada already, you can use the CC, can you?
Yeah, you can use C.
After 1 year,
Yeah, after 1 year, if you have it, make sure it's complete 1 year. But
complete
if
one.
you are doing part time for 2 years, you know, part time is equivalent of 2 years is going to be giving you like 1 year. You
One
understand?
year,
If it's
yes.
full time 1 year, good. But if it's part time, then you must have done at least 2 years. Make sure that your
So
hours
yes,
are complete.
complete. So at least have 1 year full time in total.
Mm-hmm.
1 year experience, and then apply for CEC, which is Canadian Experience Class for permanent residency. Of course, the regular, express entry. So the pathway is many.
Ah,
right?
different pathways, my sister.
Different,
Different
different.
pathways. Just to just have to plug in and then know the one that works for you,
That
right?
works for you.
I will share my story. Maybe it will help people, but not.
All right.
Hmm. But not.
So, but no, now. Okay. So you worked as a PSW at some
Mhm.
point in
Yes.
Canada. So
Yeah.
would you like to give a real life scenario of what a day in the life is like? Expectation for a PSW worker. A real life scenario, so that people have a real mental picture of what the work is like.
Okay. When I started this job, I think that was 2018 when I quit that my job. It was all new to me, but a typical day in a PSW life is um, there are community types and they are the ones that you just go in for a longer hour. So the community type is if you are the one doing the type of you want to do the community type, so you probably be with a agency or a company, and they'll give you a list of clients, and then they also give you like most organizations would give you a phone, like a company phone, and tell you just to mark, okay, this is the client you're going for, this is their house address and stuff like that. So you're gonna plug in and then do your thing. So basically, you go in there for those kind of jobs. If you need to do give them a bath or just personal hygiene, you do that. Change their briefs, make lunch or breakfast depending on the shift you're doing, and then companionship is very important. It helps our elderly people a lot. Like they need that companion because that's what really kills most people faster. They don't have
True loneliness. They don't
depression.
have people to talk. Oh, true.
Yeah, their cognitive whatever is declining. So you need to like converse with them. They need some. If you come with an old elderly person now, they just want to talk to you. They'll just
True.
be talking to you, talking. That's what they do. Just talk to them. Sometimes you watch a movie with them. Just have that conversation. It's not really a hard thing, especially for the community one. So you go from house to house. Okay.
Okay.
Or for the long term home,
Mhm.
that one is back breaking. So that one usually you have a 7 o'clock to 3 o'clock, or you have a 3 to 11 or 11 to 7. So that's how it works. So basically, in the morning you come in, you plug in, the POC. They have the computer that they use. You plug in. Okay, this is it. Once you open that computer, you have a list of clients that you're going to be dealing with.
Attending to.
It's really intense for that one, really, to be honest with you. And that's why most people don't want to do that because it is intense. They pay well. They pay, I'm not even sure if they pay well, Sha, but let me not just say what I don't know. But they pay them more compared to those that do community. Okay. So they pay them, but most times you have clients between 12 to 15
For a day.
for a day. Mhm. So we go in, still the same thing. You want to know the outputs, the input, the output in terms of what are they taking, what are they bringing out. When I say output, voiding, BMs, like, don't know, when I say BMs is am I allowed to say full? You understand what I'm saying, BM, right?
Oh, okay, okay. No, I didn't understand. I was like, what's BM?
I use simple English. So let me not be using the medical jargons here.
Yeah.
So I'll make it very plain because people might want to understand. So voiding, maybe like passing urine,
Okay.
clean, then just care for them, change their clothes, take a walk with them if they are mobile, make sure they go for the recreational activity on their floor. There's always a schedule, that they do, and give like feed them. Like some of them can't feed themselves, you just have to feed them. Just be nice because at some point in our life we're going to grow old. So how you treat people also would matter a lot, trust me. So I'm saying this because there's so many mean people out there. I tell you, like so many mean people, the way they treat them. But just treat them nice. They would know that you're even treating them nice. And
You
the way,
can't hide it. You can't fake it.
yeah, the way you treat them is also to determine how they respond to you. Okay. But don't get me wrong, there are some that are really, really, really hostile. No matter how good you are to them, they're very hostile. That thing is still there. I don't want to say it here, but that thing is still there. So basically that's it. So you give them breakfast, they have mid they have what do you call it, mid snack, then they have lunch, They also have mid evening snack. Then they have dinner, then have snack, and then they go to sleep. So basically, it's just doing some activities with them, bingo, whatever it is you want to do with them, puzzles and stuff
Mm-hmm.
like that. It's quite interesting if you're a people person and you want to I don't know, or you're just so kind at heart. You have that humanity. You want to make an impact in someone's life. Yeah, I think that job is for you. If you're just looking at maybe I just want the money, because most people just do that thing because of money.
Hmm.
Most people just go inside because of money. So, but again, passion is very, very important. You see, most people that they will not decide to go for that PSW and then push ahead to go for nursing.
Nothing.
And some will tell you, I cannot even come and stress myself. Oh, I'll just finish in this PSW. I'll stay. Some will tell you, I'm just going to do community PSW. I'm not stressing. So it depends. But basically, we are all doing the same thing. Okay? We are all doing the same thing. Personally, I don't really like long term because I feel the stress is too much. For someone like me that has 4 kids, so I can't do it. Not because I'm choosy or whatever, but I just can't do it. It's
Too
stress.
much.
I can't handle 15 clients. It's too much. My back, because sometimes you have to use some of this mechanical lift, like an oil lift, and also you have to use it, to help them. Some of them they don't have that weight, so they get weight on you. So it's really it entails a lot of skills as well because you can't afford to have someone fall on your shift. So you must
Okay,
know what.
there's so many intricacies to this thing.
Yeah, so you must know what you're doing, really. As much as people just say, Shibi is just care, just to wipe me and shoe. Nah, it's not only about to wipe me and shoe. Well, for me, Sha, that's maybe because I'm a nursing student, so I'm seeing things in a different perspective.
Different perspective.
Or maybe that's why. But it's not all about having wiping hands. It's about relationship building, helping with their cognitive, ability. Because some of them, they have the delirium, and if the only way you can also keep helping with that, aside from the medical, jargons that they take, I want to
Mm-hmm.
the medical whatever that they take, you also have to when you talk to them, redirect them. Also helps to reduce the onset of the delirium because if it's not well treated and it goes into Alzheimer and that's when it becomes really really bad. And some of them, they become very aggressive because they are not aware of their environment. They talk out of tone. So it's a lot. I tell you, it's a lot. I can keep talking and talking, but cocoa of the matter is there are 2 types. So choose the one that works for you. If you're a family person, I would say go for a community. Because that way you have time. You can even pick your kids in between, then go for another client, and stuff like that. It's so flexible. You can do 1 hour here, do 2 hours there, go have a chill. Some of them say you go to the market with them. Some of them, pick up stuff for them. Yeah, yeah. Some of them you pick up groceries for them, or you guys order it, delivery people will bring it. So it depends. It's really fun. Some of them you go to the park, have fun. It's not bad. Trust me, it's not. So, but for the long term one, that one is backbreaking. I don't know, but some people do it because maybe they don't have an option. You know,
Option.
yeah, most people they don't have an option. That's why they do it, or they don't
That's
want to
right.
see, they don't want to further their education. But for me, I can't do it. Sorry. Hard.
Okay.
Mm.
So I'm sure somebody went for the real life scenarios like, so if you are thinking that it's just about the money, okay, and if you want to do it for a short term or long term, the good news is you know the pathway, and that's left for you to decide how you want to go about it. If it's
Yes.
something you think you're interested in, go for it. If it's something you see as a pathway to like a means to an end, that's another way to go about it. You mentioned some companies, just briefly, you mentioned that some companies train people. So would you say that somebody outside Canada, for instance, somebody in Nigeria, how would the person get in contact with a company that will sponsor or train them? Now talking about the companies.
Yeah, well, like I said, if you keep applying and they like your resume, they feel okay, you have enough experience and skills, to be able to, and then you agree to the contract and stuff like that. Because someone will tell you, okay, you're going to be working with us for 3 years non-stop, you're not going to work for another organization, or you're going to work with us for 5 years. They'll train you. I don't see any company in Canada here that takes you on, whether PSW or not, that won't give you training, proper training.
Okay.
Because every organization has their own policy. And you know, long-term home has a law, so you can't even do anyhow. Can't do la. So because if anything happens, they don't care whether you are the PSW or whether you are the
Or
nurse.
not?
So you
In the
want to
whole company, everybody would bear the
be,
brunt.
so you want to be, not everybody get burnt. So it's you, the person, not even the company here.
Not even the company.
Not the
Okay.
company. Oh, are you not assigned to the? You are in charge. You are assigned to the client. So you want to make sure that you know what you know your onions very well. Because if they fall down or they sleep, well, unbreakable. May God not let us see a job.
All right. I think that's about it. It's possible. Apply on the job website, get training, get certification, and it's not something that you just apply now and you get tired. If you're committed to doing it, you definitely keep on forging until when you get the company or individual that will sponsor you to come do that work. Thank you very much, Teemi. I know
Yes.
you have a YouTube channel, so would you like to share your YouTube channel info so that people can reach you and watch your videos and learn more?
Thank you so much. Yeah, I have a YouTube channel. It's Teemi Pheels. I talk about lifestyle, education, and travels. So basically, yeah, about my life, about immigration tips, education, of course, my nursing student. So yeah, I give tips about that as well. So basically, yeah, that's it. So you guys check me out. Thank you.
Yes, please check her out. She's a bag of knowledge, okay, the job bank of knowledge. HR, PSW, registered nurse in view, minus the immigration thing she knows that she's not saying. And then she's an insurance, certified person. How much do you need? All you want.
All the
All you want, all you want. She's an industry. No, she's not even an industry. She's industries.
Seyi.
Industries. So I'll be inviting her to my channel to speak about other interesting topics. But please, you can drop your comments down below, and if at all it's something, she would, get into the chat board and answer you. Thank you very much for joining me today. Thank you, viewers, and subscribe to my channel. Subscribe to our channel as well, and see you guys in the next one. Yeah,
Yeah, looking at it now. Thank you so much, Seyi. It was nice,
yeah.
Yeah.